Actually, how do you want to do this stuff?
How do I want it? We're live, so let's just go.
We're
Yeah, we're super super formal over here.
super formal. Well, I hope you're
Yeah,
editing this out.
nah, it's
You're gonna
hilarious.
keep it in. All right.
All right, well, hello and welcome to
Okay.
another installment of the Porky Podcast. I am your host, Porky, and with me today is one of Australia's most successful water warship players. He's competed at the highest level of our game. He's the leader of one of Australia's best water warship clans. He's led his clans to Typhoon 3 times, tied for the most of any Australian clan. Please welcome my friend, my wife, my husband, and my lover, Sherper. Welcome, Sherp.
Hey, what's up?
Sherp streams twice a week on Twitch. The link will be in the description of the video. Sherp, to start with, I want to extend a formal congratulations on this tremendous achievement. For those of you who aren't aware, the Logistic Llama, or Sherp, as I and many know him, have just made CC. To start with, I have to ask, how does it feel, man?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I mean, I've been blessed with this opportunity thanks to all my regular viewers and other content creators in the community. But yeah, I'm really excited for the being part of the program. Plan to work really hard to represent everyone in the community and make the game as the best it can possibly be.
Yeah, that's wicked, man. Dude, CC is like the big thing that everyone aims for. That and partner.
Yeah, I mean they're very common goals. That's the thing. They're very like everyone has different goals, but they're kind of the big milestones to prove that you've made it, you've made it
Yeah.
past to the next step.
To prove my opinion's worth something. I'm a CC.
Kind of, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So next time I'm in an argument, I'm gonna go, guys, I know a CC. My opinion's valid.
Seems valid. Um, I mean, I think that's a lot of the reason why people gravitate towards CCs, right? Because they're the people who actually get heard, as
Yeah.
opposed to being ignored by the devs. I mean, we still get ignored by the devs from what I've heard, but less so. That makes sense.
Guys, 2 weeks in and he's already talking shit about wargaming. My god,
I've been
man.
talking shit about wargaming before I became CC, and I don't intend to stop.
This man's not gonna last.
I'm
um,
surprised I even made it in the first place.
I mean, so am I. Can you give us a bit
Yeah.
of background about yourself? How did you get into gaming, dude?
How did I get into gaming? I think it was. I think the year was 2001, thereabouts. It might have been 2000s actually. See, I was still back in China at this point, uh, where I was born, Shanghai, and my grandma had just come home with a bootlegged like copy of Destroyer Commander from like a flea market. There was like no cover. It was printed on like a plastic bag, and then it was a blank CD-ROM. That was the first ever game that I owned ever. So, and it was very fortunate that it was a strategy game, right? And that just kind of really started my pathway on to playing RTS games, and I've never really stopped since then.
Yeah. Well, I've heard you confess to being a bit of a military history buff. What drew you to military history? Do you have a family member that served, or is the interest purely academical?
I mean, I've always loved history growing up, especially military history. Um, it's not really because of any deep-rooted family tradition or anything. I mean, my grandpa did serve in during the Korean War, on the other side, mind you, but he never really talked about his experiences, and I was still really too young to really understand any of it before he sadly passed away. So I didn't really have a chance to ask him about that stuff. So my interest in military history is really just, I guess, self-inflicted, in a sense. See,
Yeah.
I grew up to be a bit of a weird kid. Instead of playing with like toy cars or being outside, what I did was I got like a piece of butcher's paper, the ones that you wrap meat with. Got some pencils and some crayons, and then just laid on the floor and drew battle maps for like hours at a time of battles that were happening in my head. This was like when I was 5 or 4, might even be younger.
Yeah, right. That's
And
all the time we got for tonight. So I'll talk to you next time. Bro, that's weird as fuck.
that's it's a bit unique. It's a bit eccentric. I think that's the word compared to others. Like, I guess that's what I did before the internet was a thing,
Yeah.
and I guess that just really escalated over the years it sort of branched out from there
Yeah.
to more academic interest, but still related to that sort of stuff. So see, I'm interested in history, politics, and stratagems in general. So
Yeah.
it naturally progressed towards that sort of stuff uh, during high school and then during into my university as well.
Yeah. So, you've said on many occasions to me, on stream and privately, that you're an introvert. How do you overcome that while streaming? And more to the point, how does a natural, self-confessed introvert decide, fuck it, I want to be a streamer?
Um, well, it's really just about a lot of you know, self-discipline
Yeah.
and not relying on certain substances.
No liquid courage. Guys, that's
Mm.
actual apple juice he's drinking.
Yeah, I just happened to put it in a sake carton.
We won't talk about that.
But no, it's obviously the alcohol does help. I it, I don't drink to the point of passing out, but it does help me loosen up. It's sort of an icebreaker for me as
Yeah.
an introvert to be able to uh numb, because as an introvert you have what's like a blockage whenever you start interacting with like doing sort of social interactions, and numbing that sense of nervousness does help overcome that at least at the beginning. Once you get past that initial sort of nervous tick, it becomes a bit easier.
Yeah.
um I use alcohol to overcome that. I know other people do other things to do it. As for why I some decided to start streaming, it was actually linked towards this side of my personality, which I struggled with for the longest time. So I guess I think it was like a year or so ago. I decided that I'm just gonna do a thing which um I know will help me work upon that. Like I'm a firm believer of practice instead of just theory. Like combining theory with practice, I feel is the best way to learn something
Yeah.
properly. And streaming gives me a very good way to have a feedback loop about how I'm doing and to get some opinions from outside of my closest circle of friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully that
I
answers it.
should just say, kids, please drink responsibly.
Right, shit. I
As
probably should
someone with
ask.
as someone with a responsible service of alcohol ticket, please drink responsibly. And Sherpa, please drink responsibly.
Sorry. Yeah, we'll do that.
So you've made it to CC. It's over, right? You're just the greatest now. But no, seriously though, what's the next step, man?
Um, I'll be honest. I'm not planning to rush anything big as of yet. Still planning to settle into my new role as CC. So that means growing my channel a bit, improving it, giving some feedback to the wargaming devs, and handing out some codes, I suppose.
Yeah, sweet
But
man.
in terms of long-term goals, though, if I was to pick something, I'd say try to make partner next. I know it's very generic, but yeah, I don't really have any specific plans at the moment. Just
Yeah.
really aiming to improve upon what I've already built.
Mhm. No, sweet man. It's a tremendous achievement, and I think partner's the next. I think it's an obvious graduation, if that makes sense. Like
Mm,
it's the
mm,
obvious next step.
yep, yep,
That's
certainly.
fantastic, dude.
Yeah, and
Um,
if I made partner, that kind of really signals that I've sort of made a living,
yeah,
which would be absolutely insane if I could do it in
I know, right?
future.
That's crazy, dude. Could you
Streaming
imagine?
and yeah,
Could you imagine people watching people play video games and giving them money? Like that
people
concept's just it's just insane.
think people come to watch my channel for the video games.
No, well, I don't. See, guys, he's mean to me in public, so I'm mean to him privately.
Oh, ouch! How am I even mean to you?
You're always mean to me. Oh, Sherp, I did this. You proud of me? No. Sherp, look at this. Mm-hmm. Sherp, I got this PR in carrier. Strat does it better.
Hey, it's for your own benefit, all right?
Yeah.
If I'm too easy to please, your sense of reward and gratification won't be as high when I do eventually praise you or an
Guys, he
achievement.
actually is my alcoholic father.
Tough love.
Actual.
Tough love. I'm actually wearing a belt, so very appropriate.
Actual? You own a
Yeah,
belt? My God.
I do. I own several belts actually.
All right,
Just never wear them.
I really feel this is gonna go into a rabbit hole.
That's why you have editing.
So let's step away from Sherp the streamer. Let's move along to Sherp the shot caller. Where'd you cut your teeth shot calling? I just got a text message.
Where did I start learning to shot call initially? You mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I did it back in 1AN really. Back when it was only still one in-game clan instead of the
Yeah.
3 it is now today. My experiences may be a bit different to some. Uh, a lot of the shot calling experiences I've had to figure out on my own instead of learning it from a specific person. And it also
Yeah.
is, I think, the role of a shot caller kind of evolved over time as well. Because
Mhm.
I remember back in season 2 or 3 when I first started, like a shot caller was literally just a person who called out focus fire.
Yeah.
And but that role eventually took on more meaning as time went on to what it is today, that being both a strategist, a commanding officer, and the morale guy all rolled into one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a, I don't know, my experiences differ. I was kind of the person who had to beat, like, get a machete and beat through the bush.
You were the guy.
And I definitely took a few, like, roundabout routes in the process. If I was
Yeah.
to if I was to be able to do this again, I would definitely have done a lot of things differently.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, hindsight's 2020, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
So you've played with some of the best players on the server at the highest levels. I won't ask you to put one above the other because that would put you in a really awkward spot. But can you speak to some of the players that have influenced you both as a player and a shot caller?
Yeah, I mean, I've had the fortune to play with some of the best play on the server, certainly. Um, Back, I think it was in season 7 or 8. I decided to take a few seasons off from 1AN as I felt we weren't actually getting anywhere, and I needed to expand my horizons if we were ever going to break out of the Storm League. So
Yeah.
that's when I joined Poi Soda, or as they're more commonly known as Repoi or Rapoi.
Oh
Um,
my god, I'm gonna get 100 comments. It's actually called Repoy!
but yeah, I played with them for about 3 seasons before coming back to 1EN, and I still maintain a lot of strong contacts with them today. Really enjoy playing my time with them. Made a lot of friends there. I won't name who they are because I know I'm just gonna get hit with "that's gay." Fuck you, understand if I did.
Yeah, and I mean,
Um,
what about me? We're not friends? You missed one, and
yeah, so I'm not gonna say any names, but yeah, definitely made a lot of friendships which are hopefully going to last into, well, long into the future, even when the game
long
eventually
after we
dies.
stop playing this stupid
Yeah,
game,
exactly, right.
Pixel
But
Boats.
yeah, yeah, but like I definitely felt like those 3 seasons I learned a lot.
Yeah,
I developed a lot as a player, and as it gave me the right perspective to make the right calls and decisions when building 1AN into a typhoon clan.
yeah, and hopefully Hurricane pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see, right? Hurricane, I feel, is more a case of you can't force it. You get the ball into the enemy's court and to shoot at the enemy's goal for give it as many shots as possible, but you don't expect to hit any goals. Um, um, you don't expect to hit all the goals, right? You just make sure that the ball's in the other court, and then eventually, I feel like you will just reach it naturally.
Yeah, you can tell he's never played a game of basketball in his life.
Basketball, I'm talking about fucking soccer, man.
Oh, sorry,
Football.
I thought you were going to use a sports metaphor.
That's the
Anyway,
closest sport. That's what I know.
it's not a sport. So, how do you?
Whatever.
Fuck, I'm gonna get in trouble. How do you feel two CVs will impact the 7v7 format? Do you feel like this is a sign of things to come? I mean, we have noticed a trend where wargaming they use tier 6 as a test bed for clan battles format, so to speak. I mean, for example, the last tier 6 clan battles, in my opinion, was to test CVs in clan battles.
Um, I think there'll still be a lot of smoke on cruisers, like crawling smoke on cruisers. Huang Hei's, Mysore's, Perths. Um, with the introduction of two CVs, there's the potential opportunity for some interesting cross drops. For example, cross dropping a duty with two tall bomber squadrons, or just cross dropping in general. I feel like
Yeah.
that opens up that corridor of opportunity for high level plans and players to exploit. But compared to like the first time they did it, I don't feel like the jump between one CV to two CVs is that big.
Hmm.
As for whether Wargaming uses tier 6 to as a test bed, I think the sample size is just too small to really determine if that's going to be true in the future as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, this is going to be a hot question, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. But do you think CVs have negatively or positively impacted the clan battles environment?
Um, my opinion are generally negative, and that's primarily due to how air spotting works. See, in all other RTS games, which by the way is how I view shot calling in a competitive clan battle environment to be, um, the fog of war is nearly always a game mechanic in those games, and that's for a good reason because it's good game design, right? Just like look at StarCraft and like Age of Empires or any other RTS games. Strategies, like good, interesting strategies, rely on the concept of incomplete information,
Yeah.
and that's just the hallmark of how you develop those types of stuff. If you
Yeah.
remove that, if you remove that element from a strategy game, the avenues for potential strategies get narrowed down significantly, which is why I think it ultimately hurts the game as a whole to have carriers and then carrier spotting where it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've heard people say that carrier spotting's the actual problem. It's not the damage, because
It's
inherently
not. It's
CVs
super not.
CVs are in line with every other class damage wise. God, I can
Yeah.
feel the hate, the incoming hate. I can feel it.
I
Um,
mean, it's people are entitled to their own opinions, and I've listed the reason why I think CVs aren't good for the current environment, right?
yeah. I mean, AA is barely balanced for 12v12. Uh,
There's a lot of buzzwords being thrown around, but I feel like a lot of people don't stop and actually talk about these things from a objective standpoint.
yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's very easy for people to just jump on and say, "Wah, CVs are broken, wah."
Yeah,
But they
jump on
don't
a
actually
bandwagon.
sit and think about why and have informed discussions with people that actually can play CVs.
Yes, yes. People like to jump on bandwagons and latch on to uh persons of authority and just parrot their like espoused opinions as if it's their own. Because that's just how people work, right? That's just how society works as a general.
I'd
We
like you to
don't
know that I
actually
feel targeted by that
we
statement.
don't want to we don't want to spend the time to actually sit down and get all the information down. We just want the gratification of knowing that our opinion is right.
Yeah, I feel very targeted. Um,
Moving on.
what do you think an example of an early clan battles meta will look like for tier 6?
Two CVs, four Huang Hei's, one T64. 61. Sorry.
Wow. Really?
Yep.
You think the best clans will move away from two CVs pretty quickly?
Potentially. A more balanced approach. And look, it'll all depend on the map selection. A more balanced approach would be one CV and one BB. Because the problem with two CVs is that you've basically lost any sort of anchor in
Hmm.
any small maps. If the enemy hard pushes you, you have no way to stop them. Not really.
Yeah.
Um, there are ways around it. I think when I was talking to KP towards the end of last season, when we are doing the last episode of replay reviews, we talked a bit about tier six, and one thing that he did say was it was possible to just smoke up the CV. If that's the case, since it's tier six, it's possible to smoke train the CV out of a dangerous position if it comes down to it, because there's no radar, right?
Could you imagine the amount of coordination that'd require?
It would, yeah, lots of coordination, which is why I think I'm actually still cautiously optimistic about next season because I
Yeah.
feel like there are um some interesting things which could be pulled off by well coordinated, well trained, and highly disciplined teams,
Yeah, I
which
mean,
we did not see from previous seasons.
I think the best clans will get the best use out of the two CVs,
Hmm.
and I think clans that have the best CV players will do the best, just in because inherently they aren't a balanced class.
Um, I'd actually disagree. I feel like CV's impact is kind of overstated in a sense because it's sure it's like it's more like having a good CV player is probably more important than having a good good cruiser player, but it's not to the extent that having one good CV player is the end or be all of a clan
Yeah.
battles team. That definitely not true. Definitely not true.
So do you feel like a good CV player will put you over the top then?
If a good CV player, no, I feel like a good CV player is a CV player which coordinates well with the rest of his team because
Yeah.
CVs have a limited sortie number per battle, and the power of CVs comes from twofold: the ability to provide basically spotting on demand across the map, and the ability to add as a +1 on any single flank.
Yeah.
To to use a more technical term, tunneling a flank, right? And that requires not just how good the CV player knows how to drop or fly through enemy AA defenses, but about where his target selection is
Yeah.
and whether he can effectively communicate to the rest of his team that this is what he intends to do.
I think that's what separates the average CV players like myself and the best of the best, like, well, the Stratmanias of the world, the ICCs of the world. It's their target selection because mechanically they don't do anything different. It's not like they're pressing some kind of different button on their keyboard or mouse. It's just
There's no magical button.
inherently they're supercomputers and they can analyze things quicker and understand the mechanics of their boat.
Hmm.
I suppose inherently that's the difference between all average players in any class, right?
It becomes more prevalent in a CV because unlike other ship classes, a CV has unlimited range, which means that he has no downtime at all. 1 second that he if he flies to a target 1 second slower, that means he's 1 second less efficient than another CV player.
Yeah.
Like for a cruiser player, your pathing isn't always going to be crucial. You're not going to be like, oh, I went to this spot 1 second slower than my contemporaries. I've actually just super fucked up. No,
Just
right?
lost the game.
I've just lost the game. No, that's not super not true. Getting to a spot 1 second sooner or 1 second slower isn't going to be that much of a difference. But it could be
Yeah.
the difference for a CV player, especially at the highest leagues.
Yeah, just to speak to my own experience, I know this interview is about you, but just speaking on my experience, I had the genuine pleasure of being backspeeded by one of the SCA's best CV players, and the amount that I heard the term efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. You're 0.5 of a second too late. Be quicker, hurry up, do it better. I'm just like,
Yeah,
man, I don't want to play this class anymore.
but I mean, that's what you have to do to play at the highest leagues, right?
Oh yeah.
It's all about shaving off 1 second to 2 seconds off this and there. I mean, obviously there are less intense moments when playing CVs, but it all adds up.
It's a
It
game
all
of
adds up
inches.
to getting one extra strike off could be the difference between winning and losing the game.
Yeah.
And you save up to that one extra strike by just being slightly faster in all of your strikes that you choose.
Hmm. So, Sherper. If I can ask, I can't words. Sherp, if someone came to you and said, "Sherp, I'm the caller of my squall team or my storm team, and I want to call at the highest levels using the principles of shock calling that you espouse," what would you give him as a basic rendition of how to shock call a World of Warships game at the highest of levels?
Um, I think step one is to get good at the game itself, right? I feel like a lot of shot callers sort of neglect that part of their own development in that they're calling for a squall team, right? But they're also a squall player themselves.
Yeah.
You can't a squall player acting as a squall shot caller has no chance of pushing a team into storm
Yeah.
outside of just like external intervention in the form of mercs just pushing your rating up.
Hmm.
That that's just not how it goes. So I would say concentrate on your own development first, and leading on from that, join in on the clan battle sessions of clan battle teams which are higher leagues than the one that you shot call for. Either by taking a few seasons off, like I did with 1AN and Repoy, or just um asking if you could join in on the clan battle session of some other clan battle teams as a merc. Once you have that sort of higher level perspective, and then you come back to shot call for your own team, you have a much better chance of like knowing what to do and knowing what to tell your own clan battle team that they should be improving upon.
Yeah. Okay. So, you're a member and part of the leadership group of one of Australia's most successful clan battles clan in 1AN. Can you can you just tell us a little bit about the 1AN structure and the differences in 1AN that they have compared to other Aussie clans that may be lacking?
I wouldn't go that far. Like, I feel like every clan has their own unique charm and operating style. It's not my place to say whether to say that we're necessarily better than anyone else, as like every style has inevitably has their own strengths and drawbacks. But the way we operate was a result of years of adjustments and the feedback from our fleet members.
Yeah.
Um, as uh, as whatever might be said about us, as a member of the administration group, we try our best to meet the needs and expectations of our members. That's kind of the core thing that we really uh, strive to do well in.
Yeah.
Um, but speaking in terms of actual differences, I can say with some degree of confidence that out of everyone in the APAC region, we're probably the most thorough when it comes to structure and organization the structure and organization side of clan operations. And that manifests into we us having a constitution to outline and define how we're going to do how we share power and how we operate power in the clan. Standard operating procedures which outline our goal and how we intend to achieve those goals, and rostering for clan battles, for example. Just to name a few just to name a few things.
So it's basically just 100 spreadsheets.
Well, every organization that gets expanded that grows to a certain extent inevitably comes with bureaucracy and paperwork.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of clans grow to a point where their own uh more personal bureaucrat, like their own personal structure. Like every clan starts off as just a bunch of guys who like a bunch of friends who play together, right? That's how it all starts. But as you gain more members, uh, there's a cost associated with that, and I feel like a lot of clans grow beyond that point and then neglect to shift towards more of a bureaucratic system.
Yeah.
Before problems start developing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big joke around the Apex server is 1AN's just all spreadsheets, but
Yes,
it's
yes,
not.
yes. We do have that unfortunate reputation. And it's one that we fully acknowledge. Like we probably have more spreadsheets that than we necessarily need. And that's one of the things where we try and keep an eye out. Like we constantly ask ourselves, can we cut down on
Yeah.
any sort of um bureaucratic red tape, right? Is there a more efficient way? Do we really need this thing? Like half of the chat in the administration group, like DM, is just about can we get rid of this thing next? And then people like say, no, we need this, or yes, we can get rid of it. Fuck it, I've never used it anyway. It's just
Yeah.
basically that.
So, I've personally noticed in my short time in 1AN and just observing in previous seasons being around you guys, I say this with all the most respect to my fellow clan members, but there's no superstars in 1AN. And what I mean by that is there isn't any 70% players or 2700 PR players. But I've also noticed that 1AN possibly has some of the best player retention of any non Hurricane clan. Can you just outline A, how does 1AN grow the talent, and B, how do they keep them around? Because it's crazy, man.
Um, I think it comes down to fostering the right type of environment. Like as a leader, I've been privileged to work with some very dedicated and very selfless people who do a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes, ranging from drafting documentation to maintaining the Discord to helping shot call a clan battle team. See, as a leader, I see it as my job to show appreciation and cultivate that type of culture and make sure that it continues on for years to come. Like clans don't magically run themselves. Uh, you can have like the most thorough and beautifully laid out spreadsheet and documents, but like what makes a clan at the end of the day is the people who are willing to work to maintain it,
Yeah.
which is um, which is why I think one of of the many achievements that we've accomplished over the years, I think the one that we're probably the most proud of is uh is the way that we approach power, or how we approach the topic of um distribution of power. See, in YAN, we have it so that the people who are holding power are the people who are willing to do the work. Power isn't really made to be a prestige thing. It's more of a custodians sort of thing. Once a person can no longer really because of real life issues do the work, we have fostered a culture which says that you should be stepping down as a
Yeah.
leader of the group because you're not capable of contributing as you have before in the past. We thank you for your service, but the power should be handed out to a person who is has the passion and the drive to do the work in the
Yeah.
future. But coming back to your question earlier, uh, I think the reason we have such a high player retention is because we have an environment which our members feel like they have a say in the direction of the fleet. And we prove that point by constantly evaluating and redesigning ourselves based upon the feedback that we get from after each clan battle season. See, we might be playing a video game, uh, but
What?
the clan behind the video game is very much a real thing, and one which we maintain with due amounts of diligence.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, th- just because it's a video game, I think the clan itself is so important because it gives people like us who are nerds a bit of a safe haven to interact with other nerds without the, how do I say, without the inherent social pressure to go out and do things and put pants
Mm.
on like Sherp was whinging about earlier.
I'm 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 honestly shocked you had it recorded. I hope that doesn't come to bite me in the back later. But yeah, right. It it's a society onto itself, and I feel like a lot of the principles of good governance that happens in the real world can be somewhat applied or like transferred to how you should be running a clan, right? There are clans who are run well, and there are clans who are run poorly,
Yeah.
and we strive to always figure out how we could do better at our jobs.
I mean, that's evolution in a nutshell, right? Evolve or
Yeah,
die.
in a sense, yes. But I feel like uh, a lot of people get complacent once they achieve their sort of their big goal, right? They sort of go, all right, we cannot fail at this point, right? There's so much momentum. We've done all the things that we've done that allowed us to get to here is good. We should keep it. We shouldn't change anything. We should just sit on our laurels forever.
Yeah.
Um, and that's a attitude which I myself and many others in the current leadership team disagree with and try and remind ourselves not to do on a
Yeah, well, I
regular
mean, how many
basis.
dead hurricane clans have there been? You
Plenty,
know,
plenty.
plenty.
Yeah, clans come and go, but we've maintained. We've been around. We've been around. We've been around since season 1 or 2,
Yeah,
and still going
clans
strong.
clans come and go, but Vor lives forever.
Ball is forever.
Yeah,
That's a good
I'm
one.
Team Vor.
You're team Vor. You're not team HMAS.
Nah, well, it'll depend if KP thinks we're friends. Uh, I just support whoever likes me.
I just support whoever the popular team is.
Do you know who I support? I support the referees,
The referees.
especially after having an insight into COTS last season. I
Yeah.
support those dudes. Yeah, I don't envy them.
The refs. Oh yeah, yeah. The the people who get messaged like 50 times before a game. What's the room code?
Where are we? What do we
What's it
do?
called? What's happening?
I know. Poor Azua last fucking season. Shep,
Yeah.
can you message Azua? Shep, can you message?
You know whose fault it is though.
ADM.
ADM too, but you know
Yeah.
whose fault it is
Go
also?
on. Go on.
The fucking wargaming devs and their
Oh, here we
refusal to
go.
make a better training room system.
Yeah. There's a heap of things I'd love wargaming to do.
Yes.
I've got a spreadsheet.
You've got a spreadsheet of all the grievances? Alright.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it one day.
Oh, one
Actually,
day.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the things which I can do now as a CC, right? Just hear all the complaints from the community and cherry pick the ones which I think actually make sense and send it to the wargaming devs. Hopefully they'll
Yeah.
get fixed.
Just pick the ones that make you look smart. Just do that. Wow, this Shep guy, he's a really deep thinker. So you've
Oh
mentioned
yeah.
to me in other conversations that your main goal is to have Australia's first hurricane clan.
Hmm.
What would that mean to you personally? And also, how would it affect your motivations to play in future seasons?
Um I mean, I think every clan, every person, and every organization needs a goal. Like an organization which loses a goal, loses its purpose to continue existing. And Hurricane, the Hurricane rating is sort of that goal for us in 1AN. It's it's just an overarching thing that we're working towards,
Yeah,
and that we're building towards. Um, what happens after that, after we achieve that, I honestly can't say. I haven't really thought that far ahead. I'll be very honest with you. Probably find a new goal, whatever that may be, but it will just depend on where the clan is, what everyone's interests are at. after that, really.
Yeah.
It all comes back to that feedback process, right? For me personally, it's something which would prove to me that I've grown as a leader and as a player. Uh so after I achieve that, I'll have to do my own evaluation of my own expectations and stuff. So
See, it's funny. I asked him this question, same question not long ago. His honest answer verbatim. Once I make Hurricane, fuck wargaming. I'm retiring.
I can neither confirm nor deny that's true.
Yeah, that says enough, doesn't it? Moving on before I get you in trouble.
No, it's fine. I can be quite glib sometimes, especially when I'm plastered. Don't take what 1 a.m. Sherpa says. Take it all with a grain of salt.
A gallon of sake.
It's the sake talking, it's not the person.
Yeah.
It's my
Sherp
excuse.
wakes up and thinks, fuck, what did I say last night? I hope I didn't make a
It's
cough
just
myself.
9 a.m. Sherpa is damage control Sherpa for
Yeah.
whatever he did. For what 1 a.m. Sherpa did.
Just stepping away from clan battles and more onto player development. If the average 800 PR player came to you and said, Sherp, I just really want to improve, what aspects are you going to tell them to improve on first?
Um, every play is different, so my answer would naturally have to be very vague in this instance. But um, like with any learning any new skill, right? You want to balance theory with practice. So I recommend you watch good YouTubers and like follow streamers which cater towards learning the game's mechanics and development, and try and emulate them, and then see if the theory which you've gathered and put those theories into practice, and then uh, evaluate whether you're seeing an improvement in your skills. Also, the other thing is to get players who are at a higher skill level to give you feedback whenever
Yeah.
possible, because you don't want to be stuck in an echo chamber, right? You want people to poke holes in your own assumptions and to give you frank, objective feedback and get you into that feedback loop, where you are learning new things and getting into good habits.
Yeah, I mean, I can just speak to my personal experience with that. There are certain Hurricane players that are just sick of getting DMs from me. Hey, can you watch this? Was this good? I did this in this minute. Was that okay?
Yeah.
So now I just try and save it up for once a month. I send out a bit of an email blast.
You do it once a month now.
Yeah, once a month. That's why I haven't talked to you in
Interesting.
forever.
Interesting. Oh, yeah. my month hasn't come yet.
Yeah.
My month's package hasn't arrived yet. I
Yeah,
see.
it's in the mail. It's in the mail.
It's in the works. Yeah. Hmm.
I had a bit of an interesting question for you.
Yep.
What's
Go
more
ahead.
important for a successful clan battles player, positional or mechanical skill?
Both. Um, like I get asked this question a lot, but my answer has always been neither of those things can work in isolation of one another. Like a clan battle player's effectiveness is demonstrated by how well he can meld those two aspects together and make them work in tandem. To say one thing is more important than the other, I feel is a fundamental misattribution of what it means to be a successful clan battle player. Like you could be in the right positions, but you can't hit the target. Doesn't mean jack shit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're just a damage farm, right?
Right? Yeah. It's like it's different for everyone, right? Naturally, you'll be better at one thing than the other. You'll be either a better mechanical player than you're a positional player, or a positional player than the mechanical player. But in my opinion, the effectiveness part of that question comes from uh how well those two stack up with each other at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
I mean, I guess it's because I've heard multiple people from different servers say it's mechanical skill. You got to be an excellent shot because you can always work on your positioning. I've heard Flomo talk if he could ever go back and learn one thing, it'd be mechanical skill first.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but it's interesting because yeah, as you said, if you have poor positioning, then it doesn't matter how many shells you hit because you'll be dead in about 7 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, like it's an interesting topic and one which I feel really deserves its own like separate episode or like session to talk about
Yeah.
because you want to talk about it from the ground up as opposed
Mhm.
to start from the middle or start from the top,
Yeah.
right? What does it mean to be effective in clan battles? That's the thing you should be starting with. And the effectiveness part about that is just uh doing damage and staying alive, right? I feel like those two things are what it boils down to. And in order to achieve those two things, it's a combination of both positional and mechanical skills.
Yeah. I mean, I thought clan battles was about potential damage and baiting your team members, wasn't it?
You're mixing it up with random battles. I completely agree. That's how random battle works. But clan battles is slightly different. You do want to keep your own teammates alive at the end of the day whenever possible.
Yeah. That's why I think I think potential damage in clan battles is both overhyped and also not spoken about enough.
Mm, mm, mm.
Because
A lot of people use potential damage as a gauge for how effective they were. Uh, that's the downside of that, right? People misattribute that as clan battle effectiveness when you could definitely ask, all right, you've gathered 4 million potential damage, but you still died at the end of the day, and we needed you
yeah,
alive. What?
yeah,
Why didn't you get out of that position? Right?
hmm
You could have made it so that the enemy weren't shooting at you. That their guns were ineffective for however long they were shooting at you, instead of gathering up some magical number.
yeah. I mean, I think potential damage. I think this whole idea of getting shot at for free with no value is just it's a crazy notion. Like, why would you sign up to get shot at for free?
Yep. Yep.
Like,
A lot of people feel like their guns always need to be hot. That's another thing which is one of the noob traps which I see very commonly in the lower leagues of clan battles. It's I always have to be doing damage. I always have to be dishing back towards the enemy some sort of return fire, which is
yeah,
super not true, right? Uh it's wasting the enemy's time. Like, see, if you have two ships on a flank against the enemy's three ships on the same flank, I encourage my player to not shoot and just waste the enemy's time because you're by wasting the time of three ships at the cost of two of your own, your entire team have gained a ship, which could be
yeah.
used on some other flank.
I mean,
Uh, yeah.
what Sherp's saying is 100% true, but he's actually talking to the greediest player on the Asia server. Yeah, I run 19-kilometer clever. What does that say?
Uh, to each their
Greed,
own.
greed.
I I don't tell you how to do your job. Oh, actually, I should
Yeah,
now that you're coming to 1NW, right?
that's right. Boggy,
Yeah,
stop
fucking
shooting,
spec out that fucking club, please.
stop
I,
shooting.
I don't want a 19.2 club on my team.
It was actually super bad. Like the first clan battles night I played with 1AN, they asked me to play Kleb, and I was like, yeah, sure, no worries. I didn't realize I still had like 16 kilometers of range. And they're like, Poggy, why are you firing? It's like, why? Because I'm spotted. What are you spotted from? I don't know. It's only within 10 kilometers. How are you spotted from 10 kilometers? Because I don't run concealment at all. I felt so bad after the game. I was like, shit.
Yeah. They were running, they were running you under the assumption you were a destroyer, when
Yeah.
in reality you were a light cruiser.
I was actually playing Khabarovsk, but
You
I have
actually, yeah, super light
Kleberovsk.
cruiser. Uh,
Well, Sherpy, I reckon that's about the time we have for today, mate. Do you just want to say a
oh,
little bit about your stream and kind of give a brief about you, about your stream?
Uh, no, I think I'm good. You know, join my Twitch, watch boats blow up, and
Links will be in the
a middle-aged man dressed as a anime battleship. And
middle-aged. Jesus, we're signing him up for his AARP card, guys. Nursing home when? Nursing home stream when?
nursing home stream. Gotta hug
All
me.
right, well, the link to Sherp's Discord and his YouTube and his Twitch will be in the description. Also, subscribe to me because I'm a thing.
Yes, subscribe to Porky.
Yeah, for significantly worse gameplay, but much better hair. Much. I reckon that's the time we have for today, mate. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to have you back on soon, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Pleasure being
Anytime,
here.
man. Anytime. All right, catch you, bud.
Bye.